Hello everyone and welcome to something completely different. Now you might be wondering as you look at the mini map at the bottom center of your screen, what the actual hell is going on? Why does the mini map look like a Jackson Pollock painting and not like your standard Arabia, which is what it says right underneath there? Well, luckily for you, I'm here to explain it all away. It's as confusing as it might be. I'm going to zoom out in case you thought the minimap was bonkers. Look at what the hell we're working with today. Now, recently, very recently, the Gamer Legion clan, made up of Hera, TaToH, TheViper, and DauT, played a Play All 5 series against a team composed of Chinese players, headlined by Mr. Yo, Licks, and unfortunately, Capture Age does not let me change the names of the players or any details for some reason. I don't know if it's something built into the encoding of the map itself or whatever the reason is. For some reason, I cannot change the two players whose names appear in teal and orange. But one thing I'll tell you, teal, player 5, is Bad Koala. And last but not least, in orange, we've got Vivi. So keep that in mind. I will refresh your memory as the game goes on in case you you can't read the names here. I honestly don't know what the hell these what it says here. So I'm hoping it's nothing too bad or embarrassing or something that might get me in trouble, but I'm assuming it's just the names of the players. So they played a 5-game show match. I'm not going to reveal who won. I'm not going to reveal anything about it, but as part of that show match, game number 6 was essentially a challenge between all 8 players. Now, they are all on the same exact team. They are all playing the exact same civilization, the Magyars, which we'll get into in a second. And the goal of this challenge between all 8 of these awesome players is at the 40-minute mark, who has the most food in the bank? Who is the chunkiest? Who has the most pizza? Who has the most McNuggets? Or if you're healthy, who has the most, I don't know, what the hell do healthy people eat? Kale shakes? I don't know, Vivi pulling a board here with a scout. Any kind of idle time for villagers is not welcome in this game. And so is it a surprise that he's risking the life, the very limbs of his scout to get the boar? So again, the name of the game, at the 40-minute mark, who has the most food? It is not, I repeat, it is not who gathered the most food throughout the 40 minutes, but rather at the exact 40-minute mark, we'll take a snapshot of the statistics, and the player with the most food wins. Kind of reminds me, I don't know if this is appropriate to say, kind of remind me of the Ted Bundy quote, "He who with the most toys wins." Although not exactly somebody you want to be quoting in polite company in any event. 40 minutes, we're already 5 minutes into the game. The challenge is basically designed to test the pure economic macro skills of the players. Once the deer are pushed, once the boars have been pulled, I'm assuming the players will delete the scouts. And why do I say that? Because let's take a look at the actual settings of the game. One thing you'll notice, you'll have already noticed, I should say, is that the map is ludicrously sized at ludicrous. Resources are at standard, but population is 300, which, high as it is, does not leave room for any superfluous military units. And so I'm assuming, like I said, once all the deer have once all the boars lie dead and their bones picked clean, the scouts will die, because as we saw, everyone's on the same team. So not exactly any incentive to keep these units around unless you think perhaps there's other food out on the map. And let's take a look. Maybe, yeah, there are deer. The question is, how much effort do you want to put? So many questions when you have a game that has literally no military. First of all, it's going to tax all of us to watch a game of Age of Empires that has no kills, no military, no army whatsoever. It's going to definitely be a challenge for me, yours truly, to cast the game without shoutcasting, without any kind of nonsense about the horses taking pokes in the ass from spearmen or anything like that. And so let's take a look around the map. Oh, and the last thing you'll see, you'll notice, let's take a look. It's all visible. Every player knows exactly what the other player is doing. Everyone is a spy. There is no hidden anything, no secrets. Your soul is laid bare on this map. And so that is the challenge. I hope I explained that quite well. At the end of the day, it's a very simple. Everyone's on the same team. No fighting, pure economic. Who has the most food at the 40-minute mark? Now, why did the players choose the Magyars? Or rather, why did the game creator or whoever organized this choose the Magyars? Both an interesting, rather not a both, rather very interesting question. The reason is the Magyars have no direct economic bonuses whatsoever. They're not Aztecs whose villagers carry extra resources from the start of the game. They're not the Berbers whose villagers move 5 or 10% faster. They're not the Spanish who construct 30% faster. The Magyars have literally no direct economic bonuses. Now, what they do have is two fairly weak indirect economic bonuses. To start with, the Magyars do get forging, iron casting, blast furnace, all for free. And one of my questions, which, feel free to join along in the comments, because I'm going to be asking a lot of questions. I've never myself witnessed a game that's just pure economics. One of the questions I have is, will the players even go to Imperial? Is there any incentive for them to do that? And we'll get into that in a second. But if they do, the savings are not great when you get forging, iron casting, and blast furnace. It's basically 645 food, 345 gold. Now, the second of their indirect, so that's why I call it an indirect, because it's a savings as opposed to an actual direct bonus that affects the villager's ability to gather resources, collect, or move towards a farm or off the farm, etc. Those are all direct features, direct characteristics. The Magyars don't have any of that. So the indirect, they save a bit of money with their military upgrades. Not that we're going to see any military in this game. And the second, they do kill wild animals. And I'm trying to find on this vomitous map where there are. Okay, so we do have wild animals, jaguars. Okay, so the Aztecs haven't actually depopulated the jaguar population for their unique unit quite yet. And so the map is replete with jaguars. Now, the second indirect economic bonus of the Magyars is that they kill those jaguars with one fell swoop, one strike, which means the villagers don't have to take time out of their busy work schedules to poke and prod at these jaguars. One strike, they die, and the villager moves on his or her merry way. So you do save a little bit of time. Aside from that, the Magyars are about as generic an economic civilization as you can get. I'm struggling to think of any other civilization that lacks any kind of economic bonus similar to the Magyar. The only thing that pops into my mind is maybe the Byzantines. They do save on their trash units, of course, so that's again an indirect bonus. Things cost less, and they do pay a third less to go up to Imperial, which again, indirect, things cost less. Let me know in the comments. Maybe I'm missing something. Always happy to be proven wrong. As you can see on the minimap, more and more players are hitting Castle Age. We'll go one by one and we'll see what the players are doing, but it'll definitely be interesting to see whether or not they go up to Imperial. So let's actually go through and see what we're working with right now. Hera, off the back of 27 villagers. By the way, I have enabled, as always, the market updates on the left side of our screen. And so we'll see which players are actually going to use their markets, which players are going to buy, sell resources. Hera going up to 3 town centers off the back of 27 villagers, only 3 farms at the moment. Now, I don't know why the graphics, by the way, of the land, the terrain, look like they've been rendered in 1997, but it's possible that it has to do with the ludicrous size of the map. We've got TaToH in red playing as You Got It, the Magyars, already on 3 town centers, already at 29 villagers himself. Player 3 is Mr. Yo, who is also at 30 villagers and is also at 3 town centers in Castle Age. Player 4, we've got the Viper, also. Something tells me this is going to be a little bit repetitive, but what can I do? This is the fun when you test one specific, like a laboratory experiment that cancels out all the other variables and just tests their economic micro of some of the best players in the game, or if not the best players in the game. You know, you're going to have similarities. The Viper, 34 villagers. Interestingly enough, some players have deleted their scout, some players have not. So we'll take a look at that as well. The Viper, 35 villagers, also 3 town centers. We've got Bad Koala, remember, in teal, going up to his 3rd town center off the back of 32 villagers. DauT, the Lord himself, 40 villagers, and already 3 town centers as well. Licks, I think the player's name is Licks, not Likes. Although, again, if I'm wrong, somebody let me know in the comments below. Also 3 town centers, also 39 villagers. And last but not least, Vivi, now going up to his 4th town center off the back of 44 villagers. So it looks like he's got his scout. DauT has deleted his scout. Again, does not care to explore the map. Does not... Okay, TaToH. TaToH is making a beeline for DauT's base. He knows they're on the same team, right? So DauT has 0 interest in gathering deer from abroad. So basically just wants to get as quick in farming economy as possible. Sorry for mispronouncing that word. Who else doesn't have? Okay, Bad Koala also has deleted. You'll see I'm looking at the top of the screens, the 2 crossed swords, as phallic as that may be, are telling me who has a military unit or not. So Bad Koala, Viper, Mr. Yo, and Hera have all deleted their scouts. TaToH still has 1 scout left, and I believe there's only okay, Gray has his scout. Not too sure where that scout is. Actually, you know what? Much easier. I can just click on him. Okay, so this might be very bad for our Gray Magyar, although he's nowhere close to 300 population. Now, what the hell is TaToH doing? All right, well, there you go. Shenanigans already beginning and abounding on this map as we are halfway through. Oh my goodness, halfway through. Let's see who's got the most villagers at the halfway point. It looks like a few players are tied at 59, but DauT at 63 and Vivi at 63 as well. So DauT currently the #1 villager count in the game. More town centers are going up. So everyone's in Castle Age. I don't see anyone rushing up to Imperial. Let's take a look at how many gold miners the players have. Hera's got 2. Mr. Yo has 2 as well. There they are. And that's essentially it. No one's got any villagers on go, though. So I apologize. The Viper's got 6. I feel like such an idiot sometimes. Actually, no, never mind. I thought I saw 6 there for a second ago for the Viper. Maybe he... Oh, yeah, no, he took the 6 and he's building another town center. So by the end of this game, in basically 20 minutes, in your mind's eye, imagine what the Viper's base is going to look like. Imagine Hera's base. Imagine DauT, TaToH, Mr. Yo, all of them. How many town centers do you think they're going to have in 20 minutes? I'm going to guess. This is really hard. I'm going to guess 15 to 20. I know that's a broad guess, and I'm copping out. You know what? That's fine. 17. I've convinced myself to be more concrete and specific. Make it a New Year's resolution. 17 town centers. It looks like no one is interested in going up to Imperial. So why is Imperial relevant? Why am I even raising it? Because the Magyars actually do have 2 somewhat relevant Imperial Age upgrades. The first is the 2-man saw, which makes their lumberjacks gather wood 10% faster. Now, why is that relevant? The quicker they gather lumber, the fewer villagers you need on lumber. And so the fewer villagers on wood, the more villagers you can allocate towards food and farming. So that's #1. #2, they also have access to crop rotation. Where's your mill? There it is. They also have access to crop rotation in Imperial, which adds 175 food. Basically adds 175 chickens to the farm. Now, why is that relevant? The more food a farm has, the less frequently you need to seed it, meaning the less frequently it runs out of food. Now, the less frequently it runs out of food, the less frequently you need to have wood to rebuild it. And the less wood you need, the less lumberjacks, meaning the more farmers you can have. So it all comes down to villager allocation. It all comes down to how many go on wood, how many go on food, how many go on gold, for example, here for Bad Koala. random villager in the middle of nowhere mining gold. He's also got stone, because you need to have the town center unless you're going to buy stone. Now, if you want to improve your economic game, definitely go and download this game and watch this game and watch it religiously, because this is the apex predators of Age of Empires, showing you exactly how they would run their economies. And so if you want to get good, you want to do well in this game, it would behoove you to study the game tape. You know, if you want to learn how to play like Michael Jordan, you better watch some Michael Jordan tapes. That's all I'm going to say about that. So no one's interested in going up to Imperial. No surprise there. Castle Age does give you handcart, which adds the carrying capacity of villagers. They do also move an extra 10% faster with handcart, and then of course with wheelbarrow as well. But most importantly, if you're not familiar with how farming upgrades work, 2 out of the 3 farming upgrades only add food to the farm. So the first one, horse collar, adds 75 food, and we already discussed crop rotation adding 175. Now the Castle Age upgrade, heavy plow, sneaky upgrade that it is, not only adds 125 food, but also increases the carrying of the villagers by 1 unit. So a small increase. There's a better way to say that. They carry 1 extra unit of food. So Castle Age really is the sweet spot, unless you want to spend 1,800 resources, 1,000 food, 800 gold to go up to Imperial. And then the cost of crop rotation, which is 250 food and wood, and 2-man saw, which is 300 food, 200 wood. For now, the players all agree. F Imperial Age. We are all going to double down. We are now 28 minutes into the game. Let's take a look at what's going on around the map. I'm going to have to zoom out so I can catch all the town center. Hera, 13 town centers approaching 180 villagers. TaToH, 13 town centers approaching 200 villagers. Mysterio, 14 town centers at 180 villagers as well. The Viper, 14 town centers at 210. So it looks like he's currently the #1 villager. The most populous civilization is the Vipers. Bad Koala, also 14 town centers, 203 villagers. GL.TaToH, who for a second had the most villagers, is at 15 town centers. Now keep in mind, by the time I get to GL.TaToH, Hera's probably already plopping another town center. So take all these statistics with a grain of salt. GL.TaToH, 15 town centers, 235. I'm very curious, once the players hit the 300 population mark, what the allocation of villagers will be. Likes at 18 town centers with 250 villagers. And last but not least, Vivi. Oops, sorry, I got the farms there. Oh, a meager 12 at 211 population. So Vivi so far, unless he's going to be one of these, you know, how there's racehorses that are designed, trained, bred to be in last place for the first half of the race, and then a burst of speed, and all of a sudden the Kentucky Derby is yours. Maybe that's Vivi, maybe that's not. Maybe he just sneezed and deleted a town center we didn't see. Maybe he went to take a cigarette break. Who knows? We'll keep an eye on that. So far, like I said, no one's going up to Imperial. How many players on the left side of our screen? I'm going to zoom to a place where it's easier to see. How many players are going to be buying food? Now remember, when you buy food, the price of food goes up, demand increases, supply stays the same, and so the price of your unit goes up. So the more early purchases you make, the more screwed your opponents are, even though technically they're on the same team, so not really the same opponents, but you know what I mean. Technically opponents in this challenge. The more you buy now, the more expensive it is for them to buy later. So we'll see how many purchases are being made. Look at these settlements. So my guess of 17 is probably going to be way too low. The players are already, Lix is already at 18. Hera, already. Oh, Hera's stuck at 13? Okay. See, I love also the fact that the players are so spaced out. They can really have fun with where they put their houses. Now, this might be a bit of a waste for Hera, sending a villager here and then a villager back. I kind of like what Red did here, where you see he started probably with this house and then this, made his way all the way around the horn, made it way all the way back here, and then probably seeded a farm or two. Maybe I'm reading too much into TaToH's game plan here, but there you go. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are 6 minutes or so away from finding out who among these titans has the best economic micro. Let's take a look at the gold villagers now, because I'm seeing more and more purchases of food. Hera's got 6 on gold. TaToH's got 17 on gold. Where are your gold miners? You also got a whole bunch on stone as well. Hera's got 0 villagers on stone. So he is just pumping out villagers from his dozen town centers. No, now it's a baker's dozen. He still has enough stone for 1 more. I'm weird that he kind of stopped at 162. TaToH, on the other hand, 1100 stone. So he can plop down 11 more town centers unless the name of the game is to sell all of that. Mysterious got no stone. The Viper's got enough for 2 and a little bit town centers. No one's got any villagers on gold on this side of the scoreboard, the left side, except for TaToH, who has 18. And there they all are. Well, at least 7 of them are here. And let's take a look at the right side of the map. Bad Koala. 0 villagers on gold, 0 villagers on stone. Let's pivot to TaToH, also 00. Licks, also 00. And Vivi, last but not least, 2 villagers on gold, 1 villager on stone. Is he still on 12 town centers? Yes, he is. Okay, as you see, the food banks are starting to grow for both, not both, for all 8 players. The mills turning in the wind, providing endless power on this map, endless renewable energy. What a fun matchup. We are literally 4 or so minutes away from seeing who has the most, the hostess with the mostest. They are all at 300 population. Tell me they've all deleted their scouts. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, and a big fat 0. So even TaToH, who tried to have some fun shenanigans here with DauT, deleted his scout. Why the hell not? Idle villagers, looks like TaToH has 1 or so on and off, but look at these economies roaring. Now, the end of the game, by the way, every stage of this game has its challenges. The beginning is obviously villager allocation. What resources do we gather first? Do we put 8 on wood? Do we put 9 on wood? Do we put 15 on wood? Do we build a monastery to gather relics? Do we send our scout into the middle of our friend / enemy's base? Hello, get back to work. The middle of the game is how many town centers should we build? Should we go up to Imperial? The end of the game is even more bonkers because there's a lot of questions. There rather are a lot of questions, not is a lot of questions. When do you send your villagers to drop off resources? How the hell do you control 300 villagers? How many control groups? Do you have a control group for each mill? Or do you have a control group for clumps of mills? Now that the players are at 300 population, all of them, I'd imagine they've taken a few minutes and created control groups. I mean, I hope so. And then with their new resource drop-off button, by ringing the town bell, all of that, we'll see what the hell they do. I'm hoping to catch some, if not all. Obviously can't. I don't think I'm going to be able to catch all of it. But how the hell do you ensure that all 300 villagers drop off their resources? And more importantly, when do you send them to drop off their resources? If you send them a little bit too early, then you wasted a whole bunch of movement time. If you send them a little bit too late, you might miss they might not even drop the resources off before the bell rings. We're at 40 minutes. Should be ending any minute now. I think it's actually, when it's 40 minutes, it's actually like 41 or so, or maybe a little bit less. And then at the end of the day, all this wood that you've gathered, all this gold, all this stone, do you use all of these extra resources? Like Hera, for example, just selling his wood. Do you sell these extra resources and risk having a farm that no longer has any food on it, and you now have no wood to reseed it? We're quickly approaching. We're at the 41. Any minute now, any second now, we're going to see these villagers dropping off. Any minute now. There you go. The ding ding goes. Dingo ate my baby. Ding goes the bell. Here we go. Another bell. I mean, I see the bell, and this is it. You got villagers here, but then there's villagers here not doing anything. And ladies and gentlemen, somehow 41 minutes, 40 seconds have passed. Let's take a look at the numbers. But more importantly, let's take a look at villager allocation. One sec. You know what? I'm going to go right before the end of the game. Maybe that doesn't make any sense. We'll do that afterwards. Let's actually just take a look at the number. Hera, 62.3 thousand. So 62,300. TaToH, 58.8. So TaToH's out of the running. Hera has more than him. Mysterio has 61.8. So Hera's beaten him as well. The Viper, 64.8, is the new champion. Knocks Hera down with 2,500 more food and a bunch of garrison villagers in here. So he rang the bell, did the Viper. Bad Koala, 61.6, nowhere close to the Viper. So the Viper's still in the lead. DauT, 64.3, 500 food less than the Viper. That has to hurt. We know there's such a thing as a DauT castle. Is there such a thing as a DauT economy? Because that's exactly what we would have here. He got to 99.9%, literally 99.9% of the Viper's economy or food gathering, and then just didn't quite close the deal. So the Viper's still in the lead with 64,800 food. Likes 58.4, so nowhere close. 10,000 food deficit. And Vivi, even worse at 54. Did he stick to 12 town centers? Yeah, he did. Why did Vivi stick to 12 town centers? Probably wanted fewer villagers on wood so that he could train all of the to focus all of his attention on food. But ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. It is the Viper, our Magyar in yellow, off the back of 15 towns. Oh, so maybe my 17 wasn't off at all. Actually, let's take a look at the town center count. Hera with 13, 14 for TaToH. Mr. Yo, 14 as well. We saw the Viper has 15. Bad Koala, 16. DauT, who came in second, 16 as well. 18 for licks. Okay, so closer to my guess. And then we saw the 12 for Vivi. So the Viper, I guess 15 town centers is the ideal allocation for a challenge with 300 villagers. Let's take a look at the stats and see who gathered the most, because that's going to be fun to watch. Who has the most food? DauT actually had the most food at 81.2. He actually gathered 1,000 more food than the Viper, but the Viper ended the challenge with 1,000, or rather 500 more food than his opponent. So the Viper either bought a little bit of extra food or just allocated his villagers a little bit differently. And so, okay, let's see who went for heavy on the gold. TaToH went heavy on the gold and the stone. Food count, maybe he should have gone heavy on the food count. He's one of the lowest food counts. So he focused way too much on gold and stone. Whereas the Viper, everything else is within a certain range, a certain standard deviation. I don't see anything really absurd. It's anywhere from 27 to 29,000, and food for the most part is 75 to 80 or so thousand as well. Military, all zeros. When's the last time we saw this? Well, that was fun to watch. Society, everyone's at 300 villagers. Now, there's a few statistics that I want to take a look at the end of the game here at the bottom right of your screen. So keep an eye. I'm going to linger a little bit, so because I know that what I think is interesting may not be what you think is interesting, and what you think is interesting may not be what I think is cool. So there's certain stats that I really want to look at, but I'm going to let the screen linger a little bit. So if there's something you're interested in, you can take a look as well. APMs for the players. Looks like the highest eco APM went to TaToH at 40. Not too sure that's at all relevant. Okay, I'm going to leave this up. I'm not too sure what any of these percentages are. Probably should know, but I do not. And here we go. Idle economy. Look at the low numbers on idle economy. This is ridiculous. Most of the players are, actually every player is almost under 2% except for Vivi. Vivi and TaToH are the only ones with a 2. The lowest is DauT. So DauT, oh my God. I also one scout created, not too sure what that means, but DauT with the most, I guess, efficient economy gathered the most amount of food, but DauT, always playing by DauT's rules, didn't, I guess, realize that the name of the game is snapshot at 40 minutes. Who has the most food then? And so even though he's ahead in 2 metrics, ultimately doesn't win the game. And then I also want to see idle TC time, because that's going to be fun to watch. 2 hours of idle TC time for all players except for Licks. 3 hours, 15 minutes. I mean, obviously, in a 40-minute game, you're wondering how the hell is it going to be 2 hours and 43 minutes? It just adds up all the various town centers, which, by the way, for the last, I don't know, quarter of the game, were all idle, as they had no more population space to train villagers. Did anyone get loom? I want to see if anyone got loom. No, 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 no. Come on, somebody get loom. DauT, get loom. You know you want to get loom. 50 for 2 is 25 apiece. DauT 25. And there you go. No military means no need for loom, no need for all that extra armor and all that other shit that comes with loom, the extra HP. And last but not least, there's one question I want to ask you before I end this video. First of all, first and foremost, congratulations to all these players. Like I said, if you're interested in improving your economic game with a civilization that has, like I said, no direct economic bonuses whatsoever. So when you master these guys, you can master any civilization, basically. Watch this game, but kudos to all 8, especially big kudos to the Viper, who takes the W in this particular challenge with 64,800 food. But one question I want to posit to the commenters, to the people watching this video, and please do comment, let me know what you think. We saw in this game a civilization with no direct economic bonuses, features, characteristics of any kind. So we saw the players basically working with the bare minimum. Now, what I'm interested to see is how these players do with a civ that has the best economic features in the game. And to that, I put it to you, dear viewer, dear audience member, whoever you are, whoever you may be, which civilization in Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition at the moment out of all 45 civilizations has the best economic layout, the best economic features, characteristics? Let me know in the comments below. But until then, until we see that challenge, the Viper with 64,800 chicken nuggets is victorious. But as always, GG to all of these players. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.